This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean, and Pierre Novellie is here. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. Hello.
Morning.
Now, there isn't enough people saying hello on radio. I think there's all sort of crazy greetings. Let's just keep it simple. Just before we came on air, I found myself singing Life. Ooh, life. Ooh, life. Is that the vaguest song lyric of all time?
You can't just repeatedly say life. You've got to make an effort.
Is it the idea that it's a song that sort of means something to everyone because it isn't too specific?
Well, that's it. I mean, every listener's sort of going to go, I think I know what he means by this.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got a song that goes, Sylvia's mother said, you've got to have a girlfriend called Sylvia. And she's got to have a difficult parent. You know, you need all that. But yeah, keep it vague.
I think that's pretty universal. A little difficult parent.
Yeah, but Sylvia, it's dying out, isn't it, as a name?
Yeah. Like, who was the last Sylvia you encountered? I would say it'd have to be Sylvia Anderson, wife of... Is it Jerry Anderson, Frank?
Oh, yes. What
did they make?
They made many things. They started with Torchy the Battery Boy, and went via Supercar, Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, and so on.
Did they make Aqua Maria?
Aqua Marina was a song from Stingray about a mute underwater beauty.
How did it go? Do you remember?
It went Marina, Aqua Marina, and you'd see her swimming through water in a lot of chiffon. A lot of underwater chiffon was the theme with Marina. And like I say, very beautiful, but she never spoke.
Marina.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And Troy Tempest is another clue, as it was all, very sea-based.
I had a strange crush on him.
Yeah.
Was he a funny model?
Apparently I think he was the one who was based on James Garner.
Okay.
Underwater chiffon, though, the drag on that.
Yeah, I know. But I think if you grow up underwater, those muscles develop. You can just swish through.
Okay.
But she never spoke. No, it was
the best.
Yeah, they became divorced. I think the Andersons. I think it was quite bitter at the end.
Oh.
Yes, pity, because they were a great team. And what's the name of the fandom which loves the Jerry Anderson?
What are
brand?
they called?
They're called Fanderson.
Oh,
come on. It's absolutely wonderful. I love it, I must say.
I think I bet you get on very well with the Fandersons. Don't take that the wrong way.
Yeah, well, I don't know that like I know Doctor Who, but I always feel when I fall into decrepitude in later life, I'll probably get the old Thunderbird box set.
You're all in the same area, aren't you?
I was an XL5 man myself. Right. So anyway, incidentally, I should have gone to a screening of Doctor Who and the Daleks, plus Daleks Invasion Earth, whatever it is, 19 blah blah AD. But I couldn't because my son has chickenpox, so we missed that. So they sent me the DVD this week.
Ah, great.
Canal. Is it Canal? Anyway, Studio Canal. So that is very exciting. The artwork is through the ceiling.
That is so adorable. They still send DVDs for the Doctor Who. So they don't have links or anything, no?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
We didn't bring that up. You wouldn't get there's like two souvenir cards and a poster and a 36-page booklet.
You can't collect links.
No, you
Speak
can't.
for yourself.
No,
I spent a lifetime doing it.
It's like touching it in your hands. The booklet.
Lovely.
Yeah. Anyway, that was. I don't know what that was. That was just talking. I suppose the show's essentially talking.
That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like, it's like going to a jazz gig. Occasionally, brilliant themes rise up from the inner workings of the musicians.
There is something I want you to mull over, though.
Oh, go on.
You know, when things... I was actually on the way in this morning. I couldn't get over... I actually felt a certain amount of respect for people that had affairs without mobiles. Because how did these people pull it off?
8, 12, 15.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
So I've been gigging this week, doing sort of work in progress, trying to find some sort of comedy. That thing you have to do. And obviously you get people who listen to the radio show, and a man in the front row early on in the gig handed me... now, Ian, what does this say to you? A pink and white striped paper bag. To me, can only mean one thing.
Oh, pick and mix.
Pick and mix.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd walked past an al fresco pick and mix outside King's Cross Station.
Oh, yes.
Big one.
I like an on plan air.
Well, yes. So he handed me these, and he said, I know you like these. And they were Dolly mixtures, which I was talking about recently on the show, they are my sweet of choice. And I said, look, thank you, but the rule on fan food is you can't eat it. Because he said, I just picked them up on the way here. I said, yeah, but you've told me that's a narrative technique to suggest you haven't had time to sort of smear them. I said, oh, yeah, I just picked them up on the way. Well, maybe you did and maybe you didn't, but here I am anyway.
Maybe you carried them in your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? I'd settle for that. Anyway, I'm thinking more cocaine smuggler style.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, so the gig continued, and the bag was there, and I took it. I didn't want to leave it on stage. No. And I walked past that same alfresco pick and mix, and anyway, I got on the tube, and I thought, I've got them with me now. So I went in on the fan food.
Oh, you went in?
And it had that, pick and mix has that taste of...
Not really, no.
It has a taste of what you might call distant sell-by date about it. You know,
Yes.
They got that staleness about them, which is how they've picked up their... I'm not saying this is true of the King's Cross one, in case the man's listening. I doubt he will be. But
Frank, did it have my fear is that sometimes the random fried egg falls in, and I cannot tolerate the fried egg.
I don't mind I think it's the taste of other people's fingers on them. Because it is the sort of pick and mix where you can just take a few out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fumble flavoured.
But having said that, I ate virtually the whole bag, and I'm only 4 tube stops before I get home.
That's good work.
I really went after it, and I've got a thing that I like to try and get at least one jelly in the handful, so I know when I'm going that soon I'll hit a different texture. Anyway, so thanks for that, mate. I did eat them after all. And we'll see what happens.
That might be one of my favourite ever payoffs to the story. Thanks for that, mate. I did eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's a woman in the front row one night, and there was a big hardback book sticking out of her bag, and I said, "Oh, what's that you've got?" It looked like a proper, and it was Rob Beckett's autobiography, and I thought, is that a threat? Any sign of failure in this gig, and I'm going into Rob Beckett.
I'd rather learn about the origins of a different comedian
Yeah, exactly.
than the current times of you, sir.
Yeah, I've actually got back up. Oh man, it was very depressing. And then we had a long conversation about Rob Becky. I used my "will no one rid me of this troublesome priest" line.
How did it go down?
One person got it. But
That was me.
They got it in, when one person gets a joke, they really get it and laugh a lot because partly they're celebrating their own intelligence.
Yes.
Which I'm happy to let people do.
Well,
There's plenty of people on telly celebrating their own ignorance.
Well, it's the
So
sort
why
of-
not offer an alternative view? Sorry,
I was going
Emily.
to say it's the laughing at it's the equivalent of laughing at the Shakespearean comedy, isn't it? The
Exactly.
jokes, yeah.
Yeah. Although I must say, I don't know if I've just become one of those people, but I've started to laugh a bit more at I used to hate Shakespeare jokes that I didn't get. Now I think this week any jokes will do me.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I share this missive with you from Peter? Last week you talked about Cadbury-themed vans. In the late 90s, I worked in Bourneville. Other chocolate brands are available, and our break room overlooked the Cadbury's car park. Often, we would see the mini egg van racing the cream egg van.
Oh, really?
It became such a regular occurrence, we started betting on who the winner would be. Oh, come on, that's brilliant.
It's Channel 5's Mr. Treat there, haven't they? Egg racing.
Fastest food.
What you need is one of those egg trucks, and then they could have a spoon truck, and you could call it Egg and Spoon Race, and it could be the two of them racing. I mean, ideally, I would have thought to the death on Channel 5 to get the people in, get the viewers in. That's got. I love a bit of. You don't get much behind the scenes Cadbury world stuff.
I would have thought that a fried egg is the fastest shape of egg.
No way.
Aerodynamic.
No, hard boiled's going to be.
Do you think?
If you're going pointy end first, yeah, definitely, I would say.
Don't know. I could a fried egg from the side in profile looks a bit like a
Yeah,
sort of
but
fast car.
they don't hold their frisbee nature, do they? That's the trouble. I don't know if when you skim a fry egg, they tend to undulate. Yeah.
Not very toned, the fried egg.
No. I suppose if you really cooked one up, but then I think you'd get curvature at the outer extremities.
I'd like to see if you skim a fried egg, they tend to undulate. Frank Skinner 2022 on a sort of
On a
engraved-
coaster.
Yes, or a plaque.
Maybe an egg egg cup.
Little egg cup.
I was sitting in my garden this weekend. Yeah, I've got a garden. I've worked for it. And I could hear Noel Gallagher doing a gig just like a quarter of a mile away at a place called Kenwood House.
Oh, right.
And we just sat in the garden. And it was like, oh, cry, all right. It was a bit like that, but even so, it was free.
That's nice, Frank.
How
How did it sound?
I kind of liked it. I recognised, quite a few of the songs, so I could hear it that clearly. And I just like the idea of, I think about this for a text in. What major events have you heard from your garden? Because there's people. I went to a birthday party recently, quite near the Arsenal Stadium, and you could hear
Yeah.
the cheering. And we were trying to work out before we went to our phones whether that was a home goal or an away goal or a bit of crowd anger.
Pitch of joy.
It's quite exciting though, something big happening nearby like that.
Oh,
You
yes.
don't agree? You don't agree with me?
I don't live too far from the Arsenal Stadium, and
Oh, okay.
you can hear it sometimes even through a shut window if
Yeah.
it's going well.
Well, I used to live in in a house that literally adjoined West Bromwich Albion's ground. I couldn't hear a damn thing.
We lived briefly opposite. It's so sad. It's so sad. We lived opposite the Sydney Opera House. And,
Did you? Wow.
we got about. There was always a flurry of activity there. I've got to be honest, it got quite irritating.
Could you hear the opera though?
No, they closed the windows for that.
Okay.
But there's the Harbour Bridge. It's all in the same manner.
Yeah.
So there's always something going on. There's fireworks. There's events. It got too much for us after a while.
I had a Sydney Opera House made from my nail clippings for a TV show. It's surprisingly authentic looking.
Sorry, Pierre.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You know, we know a phrase that we've used a lot, which I think I got from you, Emily, was the being a late adopter.
Yeah.
And it's when you take up some... I mean, I had it with Michael Morpurgo recently, years of Morpurgo avoidance. And now I read his new book, Where the Fishes Flew.
You went straight into new. You didn't go to the back catalogue.
Well, I got that one free when I interviewed him. So I read that to my sick child in the garden, and I loved it.
Did it go well?
I loved it.
And what did he think of it?
Oh, him? I didn't ask him. I did all the voices.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. I also I used to like a manual pencil sharpener. It's that nice Jewish man at Ryman's.
I think he used to play for Arsenal.
Yeah. But I've got the battery operated now. That's brilliant.
You've got a battery-operated pencil sharpener?
Literally lean out of bed and come back, and man, it's as sharp as...
Pierre, can you do something? He's got a battery-operated pencil
It's
sharpener
brilliant.
next to his bed.
It's the future. Take it from me. It's brilliant.
Have you become a sort of technical draftsman or something?
It's took me back. I used to think I've got enough pencils to last me the rest of my life. I used to think that, but now I've really returned to the pencil with a vengeance since I've got the battery operated.
What are we penciling?
Oh, everything. If I'm writing stand-up and everything, all in pencil. Because obviously there's quite a lot of robbing out after the gigs.
You're spending more money on paper.
And then this week, what did I rediscover? Surf and turf. Something that which I think of as quite a sort of 80s thing. Yeah. And I had, what I had was a corned beef and anchovy sandwich.
You did it.
And it was really nice. I mean, don't knock it till you've tried it, as a
corned beef,
as we say in the S&M community.
I won't be trying it.
Honestly, it's great.
A corned beef and anchovy sandwich is the sort of comedy food that they try and foist on a Beano character.
Yeah. That simply isn't true. It's really nice.
Like a mythical punishment. If you don't behave, you'll be getting a corned beef and anchovy sandwich.
Well, yeah, too long has meat and fish been tied up in this sort of Blur versus Oasis thing. But get them together and... No,
but you've chosen the two worst ones.
I haven't. I love anchovy. As you know...
Yeah, you do.
I have always felt that... I had a very strange thing, because I've always felt that a pizza without anchovies is not really a pizza. And then I was watching a programme which existed for about 28 series. I don't know anyone else who watches it, Futurama.
Yes.
And he bought, because he lives in the future, he bought a pizza and he said, a pizza isn't a pizza if it doesn't have anchovies. And I thought, when you find a kindred spirit...
Yeah.
It just happened to be that bloke from Futurama.
And it's a great episode.
It's a brilliant episode. But it's much underrated, I think.
Well, I'm interested that you raised the subject of anchovies, because I had an anchovy incident this week.
Well, let's make that a cliffhanger.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, the tide would have to be pretty high. But we'll see.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
By the way, I was talking about recently adopting things, Morpurgo, battery-operated pencil sharpeners, and surf and turf revival. If you've recently adopted anything that might enrich our lives, let us know on 8, 12, 15. Oh, professional. Pleased with that.
Very tight.
No,
it was a cliffhanger. Emily's anchovy story.
I went to a lovely restaurant called Riva, and there was some zucchini fritters that really appealed to me on the menu.
Could you resist going, Andrea, Riva? Could you resist doing that?
Yes, funnily enough.
Okay.
Because it's a very classy place. And there was some zucchini sort of fritters that really appealed to me, but what concerned me was the mention of the A word.
Right. You don't like anchovies?
No, because no one does, Frank.
That isn't true. I've gone...
We take a straw poll in this studio. Hands up if you like anchovy. Your witness.
I'm a 50-50. I was surprised. I was ambushed by an anchovy because I didn't realise they're a key part of a Caesar salad, technically.
Oh, yeah, God.
Yeah.
But
thought it was a
orders-
slug.
I would rather eat a slug. Who orders a Caesar salad and doesn't with... I mean, the problem with the Caesar salad is that it almost always requires the caveat. And I don't like a dish like that because no one says...
What do you mean I don't, but no anchovies?
Everyone.
No.
I don't like a but food.
No, that's why I was worried about the dolly mixtures.
Anyway, over at Riva, I said, look... I did say look to her as well. Lovely,
Okay.
lovely waitress. I said, the zucchini... I've got a problem. The zucchini really appeals to me. However, and she preempted me, and I loved this. She looked at me. She was Italian. How do we feel about... Maybe not do the accent?
How do we feel about Italians? I thought you were going to say
No, how do we
that.
feel... Maybe I won't do the accent. I don't want to upset
My
anyone.
surname is Italian, and I hereby give you
Okay.
permission to do
But
a
she
fun
just
Italian
said,
accent.
She said, it's okay. It's okay. And I didn't know at first she was talking about the anchovy, and then I realised she was. She said, I don't like anchovy. I don't like anchovy. Barely taste it. Barely taste it. So I thought, okay. I got it. There was a lot of anchovy. Because what I'm saying is they infect everything. She was right. There was minimal anchovy in it. But you only have to sniff it, Frank.
That's their power.
The power of the
No,
anchovy.
but that's what I want from an anchovy.
Yeah.
I want I want it to permeate. The corned beef, you could smell the fish on it. And that was great. Honestly, the combination was so good. If anyone is at home and they have these two ingredients, but they were pretty nice anchovies. It was from one of these deli places, where they were in some sort of seasoned oil.
Sure.
Thing. Yeah, but corned beef was standard.
These were nice anchovies.
I don't know if you don't see really high class corned beef in these places, do you? That hasn't seemed to have been given the treatment.
I don't think you'd go to that Harrods Food Hall or whatever and see it hanging from the ceiling.
No. You have the birth de corn. Oh, yes, sir. It's a very fine example. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It stayed firmly close to its roots, corned beef.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novellie. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
Do you want to hear what's been going on in the outside world?
Oh, yes. Hold on, I think we have an outside world jingle. Outside world, whoa, the outside world. Oh, I can imagine sitting next to a net of anchovies as I sang that. It'd be a very small net, wouldn't it? Tight nettage.
It'd be like one of those nets you get oranges in.
Yeah, it'd have to be one of those. Yeah. Even that, I think you might get ambitious anchovies making their way through.
But pirates, did they catch fish?
No, they catch people, didn't they?
Yeah, but they might have been. They may as well. They might have been opportunistic.
That's a good question.
They had a side hustle.
Did pirates fish? 8, 12, 15. Someone will know that. Of course, the hook would be handy, wouldn't it? I hadn't thought of that. Perhaps that was just primitive angling. The hook hand.
We cut out the middleman.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't... no room for twine on this ship. Ne'er the twine shall meet.
I hope he tied his hair back or put it in a scrunchie, that Hook.
They were usually...
Hook had a lot of share.
They had
ringlets.
plaits, though, didn't they, and things?
No, but Hook, not Hook. Did you see Hook's hair ever? I had a big old do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them, when you see like the real pirate drawings I don't know how accurate they were.
I was going to say.
But often they'd have what is it? It's called like a Scandinavian plait. So, those big ones that look like they've got a loaf of bread on the back of their head.
Yeah.
I love a plait on a woman.
Yeah?
Oh, God, yes. Real work of art. A
I
real
love a
good
plait
one.
on a woman. That's an alternative opening to the film Apocalypse Now. I enjoy it.
Yeah. I love a plait on a woman.
Can I share? He likes a gymnast, sort of the whole.
No, they don't go for the full. I'm on about those ones where it's really like there's 4 or 5 strands intertwined.
Quite Germanic.
I know, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Angel Blue Eyes has been in touch.
Yeah.
You were asking if anyone had sort of overheard gigs, essentially.
Oh yeah.
I heard the whole of the U2 Zeropa tour. Did I say that right? Zeropa.
Yeah, I think so.
From my Willesden flat when they played at Wembley. You heard a
Nice.
few things from there. I know what you mean, re Kenwood House, though. We went to see James there a couple of weeks ago
Oh yeah.
and realised it might be better to sit on the hill without going in.
Well, that is always a temptation, isn't it? You don't have to be too far outside of the perimeter fence of any outdoor gig, you would think.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a Glastonbury thing where people sit outside Glastonbury and don't pay?
I suppose it's too big, isn't it? Too many stages. You get a muddled sound.
Okay.
Not sure,
we'll
though.
see. I think there might be a sort of shanty town element to Glastonbury. Someone will know. Well, they'll probably be in the shanty town as we speak.
Yeah.
Not listening to radios, but listening to what about I love this song. Good preparation for when they go hard of hearing in later life.
Talking of that hard, 617, Pirates didn't fish because it was too hard.
Very good.
Well, I mean, come on, that is the B now, isn't it?
Yes. And in terms of what have you recently adopted, Brian Sefton on Twitter, what have you recently adopted? An air of insouciance.
What does insouciance mean?
It's me, essentially.
Yeah, there you are. Uncaring sort of whimsy, sort of
okay.
untouchable.
Sort of above it all.
Yeah.
Touch me not.
Okay, well, good luck with
Sort of a
Good luck with that.
touch me not, or is like no limitage.
What?
There's an Italian Renaissance painting called No Limitage.
Oh,
it's about
of course.
It's about your lot,
yes,
Frank.
it's Hey Who and
It's your
as
lot.
they say at Man City.
Yeah.
And Mary Magdalene, isn't it?
Yes, and
I know it well.
I realised it was only discovered later. It was Touch Me Not. So
Yes.
I'd like to say No Limitage.
Touch Me Not. Should have been like a Freddie and the Dreamers single. That's what it sounds like.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've got some anchovy news.
All right.
I say news. It is from a chef though, 790.
Okay.
Good morning, Frank and team. Good morning, 790. I have been a chef for nearly 20 years, and anchovies have always divided my customers, and understandably so. I'm liking this chef.
Yeah.
They are an acquired taste.
Oh, what does that mean?
However,
Go on.
However, asking for a Caesar salad with no anchovies and asking for extra dressing is always frustrating, considering the dressing is absolutely laced with the little blighters. That's Rich in Seven Oaks. That's a chef referring to your beloved anchovies as the little blighters.
Yeah, but you know, I think that. I don't know. You know, I realise I don't have a strong enough opinion to actually get it out. I just really like them. If you don't like them, try. All I would ask our readers is to try one corned beef and anchovy sandwich. If they don't like it, then they can badmouth me.
When you say all I would ask our readers,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
it's quite a big ask.
I think that's fair enough. By the way, can I ask you a question? Here at Absolute House in Golden Square.
As no one has ever called.
No, that's because we share it with about 12 other stations who probably wouldn't like it. Let's call it the Bauer House.
Oh.
Because it's owned by the company Bauer.
Yeah.
So that what they did, and I thought it was a good, modern gesture, is there used to be men's toilets and women's toilets, and what they've done is it says now, does it say men and women, male, female? What does it say on it, Sarah? I'm asking the producer.
Yeah.
Looking at me like I've asked her to name the 12 apostles. Anyway, so what they've done, they got men and women, let's say, on one side, but if it used to be a man's toilet, they've kept the perspex sign blue.
Yeah.
And if it used to be a women's toilet, they've kept it pink, even though the sign says men and women. And that happened several years ago. I realised today, I've never been in one of the pink men and women, because that messaging to me saying, do not come in, you're not welcome in here.
No limitage.
The instincts are still there.
Yeah. But it's an interesting halfway political house to say men and women pink, men and women blue. Wink, wink. You know which one we're inviting in.
I have seen a few trendy bars attempt a similar ambiguity, but they'll put up a sign saying which of the two completely fine rooms is packed with urinals.
Yes.
And which isn't. And you sort of go, well, that's gonna make things easier for you if you're a man, no matter what.
Well, look, I'm all for equality in the abstract, but when I was in a cubicle next to Emily's niece, I did feel incredibly self-conscious when we had just a tiny bit of
She came out,
wood
she said,
between us.
she said, I was in the toilet with Frank.
Yeah, well, we was virtually with. I mean, it's a tiny bit of wood.
I've never seen her laugh so much, though. It really, she enjoyed it.
I was mortified. I mean, you got to remember that when you get to my age, I mean, it sounds like a psychedelic improvised gig at the Albert Hall when I go to the toilet. It's a happening. That's what it is.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Hey, we never got to the bottom of whether pirates had a side hustle with the fishing.
No, we only got a sort of a light-hearted remark as an answer.
No, because it's too hard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's simply not good enough, is it? Did pirates fish? I mean, otherwise, I suppose when they boarded other ships, they could get victuals.
Yes.
But it seems mad to be at sea and not fish.
I was going to say,
when you've got hooks about your person at all times.
It'd be rude not to. Do you think they said that?
I don't think they worried that much about being rude. Pirates. I suppose they had their code. They had their code, is what I'm guessing.
I do like the idea of a pirate tentatively opening a treasure chest. It'd be rude not to.
Do you think they were saying, I'm so sorry, after you. I don't think they were, etiquette wasn't their thing.
Yeah, would it be a treasure chest, or maybe you might have a creel? You know those things that you keep fishing equipment in and sit on?
Oh, yes. Yeah. There at the back.
I like the idea of a big line of them angling off the side of a galleon.
Peaceful, ain't it?
Yeah. They're not really biting today, Dave. Yeah. You could get like the skull and then 2 cross fishing rods underneath on that ship if they were particularly fine anglers.
Also, I think it would have been a good decoy for the pirates. People would have thought, those are some nice fishermen doing a sort of, Paul Whitehouse, Bob Mortimer thing.
Well,
they would never have suspected.
A lot of them lost their eye from the casting, when you when you flick the thing back, just catching them in the... I think we're getting to the bottom now of the whole pirate thing. They were basically fishermen who got a bad press.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
In case if you're listening on a Decade channel, I just played a track called by Keston Cobblers Club, which you won't have heard. But I mention it because I have in my hand it looks like a book. I'm just going to show the guys this. We'll put a photo up of it. And it's actually a music box, which was made by the dad of one of the band. And it's beautifully done. So it looks like a little wooden book. and you press a button and the album plays.
Oh, wow.
So I've never been sent one of those before. So I'll put up a couple of explanatory photos.
Yeah.
I must have
Lovely.
said, it certainly grabbed my attention. Hold on, that was a fly.
I'd call it an artifact, something like that.
It's objet d'art.
It's objet d'art.
Now, we were talking about pirates, and then Pierre Novellie drops an absolute dialectal bombshell.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It was a knowledge bomb.
Yeah. Regarding the origins of the pirate voice, the voice that we all instinctively know to do when we're being pirates, R and so on.
Yeah, so why do they speak like that, pirates?
Well, in Disney's Treasure Island, 1950, the first sort of big audio
Look at that,
Treasure
the
Island.
date. Just,
Yeah.
all in there, all in there.
But
It was
I
a-
can join in here. Robert Newton.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, Robert Newton.
as Long John Silver.
As Long John Silver, and Robert Newton decided, being a
And
Dorset.
maybe Robert Morley as one of the.
Ooh,
Oh,
I'll have
dear,
to
dear
check that out.
Robert.
But anyway, yeah, Robert Newton.
Robert Newton was from Dorset, from the West Country, and of course Pirates of Penzance and so on. And he thought, I'll go for an exaggerated sort of West Country accent, as Long John Silver. Hence, OR
Yeah.
is also the same R as pirates.
So you're saying this is all down to one old ham?
Yes,
Is why we all speak like this?
like the end of a Boxing Day buffet. It's all down to one old ham.
One
It's Long John-
scenery-chewing actor has basically changed the entire course of pirate history.
Well, if Long John Silver was an old ham, that's one of the early examples of surf and turf. Oh, really? He was a great... I don't know if you've seen those old movies, but he was a great... Oh, he did the gym
Just
lad.
say
Our
great.
gym
I mean, it's
lad. That was
quite
him.
broad, a lot of these performances.
Yes, but he was brilliant.
But as a result, of course, Americans, having no concept of some sort of West Country accent, just go, pirates.
But you're right. Now you come to mention it, it doesn't make any sense that they've all got a West Country accent, pirates, because they don't all come from there.
No.
Good heavens.
That's brilliant.
Although I think it would have really livened up Captain Phillips if the Somali
Yeah.
pirates who kidnapped Tom Hanks had all had a sort of thick Dorset accent.
But
Yeah,
who
exactly.
knew that one old actor doing
Yeah.
a regional accent could change lives like that?
Great bit of, as you say, a great knowledge bomb from the man we used to call the Wikipedia on tour.
That's lovely
because-
the way that works. It really trips off the tongue.
It does, doesn't it? But it was often apt in the back of the tour van. Pierre would often be dropping these knowledge bombs.
Why do you know quite a lot of things?
I have a lot of time.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I know I like it. There wasn't a challenge. There was no aggression.
No.
No, I didn't sense any aggression. Ooh, R. I'm enjoying that now.
Yeah.
Of course, my favourite Treasure Island moment is when they announce that Alan has been killed. The least appropriate name for anyone ever in Treasure Island, I would say. Yeah, that'll be the death of Alan. Oh, okay.
Colin the pirate.
Yeah, so it was a bit like that. Yeah, Paul Pirate.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I want to ask our friend Pierre, our French exchange, what he's been up to. But briefly, Jackie in Hamburg, I need you to know this because Jackie in Hamburg she's your kindred spirit, as she says. Thanks, my kindred spirit. I've always said a pizza isn't a pizza without anchovies. If I order a pizza and the shop doesn't offer anchovies, I like the shop, the pizza shop. And shockingly, that sometimes happens. I always have some to put on the pizza. Shove it in the oven to heat them. Perfect pizza.
Okay.
Listening from Hamburg. Lovely.
Well, I
Saturday
always,
morning, she offers some praise to you then. But I'm just saying, you've got a friend.
Yeah, I mean, if they do additional toppings, often you can have like an American hot and then say, just stick the anchovies on. But it's a big ask.
Yeah.
I mean, the pizza place I go to.
Very good.
I saw that coming. Like
Did you?
Like a truck at an intersection, just seconds too late to stop it.
18-wheeler. He likes those. What?
If you see my jokes coming, Pierre, there's a career ahead for you in comedy. That's all I'm saying.
God.
Anyway, come on, what's been happening to Pierre Novellie? So is he up to stuff? Last time we spoke to him was at the wine tasting.
Oh, yeah.
On mes vacances.
What a life.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to live up to my name.
Oh, life. What's
Oh,
happening
life.
in your... Come on, Frank.
What?
Pierre, what's happening in your...
Life. Oh, life, oh, life.
We criticised it as vague, but in fairness, in French, it'd be a sort of classic of the genre, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
La vie.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone think, oh, that's a great song. That.
Oh, la
I
vie.
don't know what it means, but it's great.
Yeah.
Of course, the lavvy is what we used to call the toilet when I was a kid. You don't want to be singing about that.
Oh, we didn't do Lavie.
No,
Oh,
quite right.
We did Lou.
Oh.
Oh, no, I never liked that much.
Well, toilet was banned.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Difficult.
No, just it's a bit pooterish.
Yeah.
Google it. Anyway, what's happening in your life?
I recently, bravely, if you're a stand-up comedian, and you are, Frank, and you'll know that this is a rare thing to agree to, I emceed a friend's wedding.
Oh, gosh.
It's a big ask.
Did you write new wedding-based material
I
for
did.
it? Okay.
I went in custom.
But did you chuck in a bit of old stuff as well just to fill it out?
There's a couple of jokes of a style that I would not sell on my own stall.
Okay.
Oh,
know,
what sort of ones?
all sort of
Unaccustomed
classics.
as I am.
Easier ones.
Right.
Oh, no.
You don't want to be reinventing the wheel mid starter.
Yeah,
No.
You also don't want to be 1973 in New Faces.
No, so how did it go? What is the weddings I've been to don't really have an MC.
Well, so normally I wouldn't entertain a request like this, but my friends had been to a Norwegian wedding and they came away changed, as you would imagine.
That happened to me when I went to a Norwegian hotel buffet.
Oh, yes.
They are the most incredible experiences. There was people, a bloke next to me had 5 different desserts on the same plate. It really is.
Yeah.
Eat until you are taken to hospital. That's how it operates.
Oh, yeah.
It was...
Endless smoked cheeses.
Yeah. And lots of that supplementary oil. What's it called? Something like E20 or something like
Yes,
that.
yeah. Anything from fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they love the
let's
fish.
get on with the pirates.
Okay,
Do
we're
you get
gonna.
Norwegian pirates?
I don't know.
Only in
answer
the
to that.
music business.
It'd be very,
Aha.
twiddly, fine work, wouldn't it? The fjord thing.
Yes.
Yeah, pursuing someone through a
30-point
fjord.
turns.
Maybe like Pac-Man. You just have to total turn after turn after turn. No, I think the fjords would put me off. I'd see that. They'd be like, I suppose, we call them speed bumps.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novellie. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
Okay.
Very smooth.
Meanwhile, over at the wedding,
Yes.
I'm just having a ginger shot. I don't mean I've hired a hitman to kill Chris Evans. I mean I'm having one of these little zingers.
oh my word.
Go on, carry on.
Well, so these friends of mine had been to a Norwegian wedding and they'd come away convinced that it was the way to go because apparently, according to them, at least the one they went to, weddings in Norway, they'll have sort of 8 people speaking for sort of 2 minutes each. And everyone sort of gets a look in, the parent of either person getting married.
It's a smorgasbord.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you stand on a big sort of rye bread platform.
Yeah, and nobody
Yeah.
gets smorgasbord. It's perfect. Okay, so that sounds...
Where were you before the wedding?
It's a tough gig, though, isn't it? The 2-minute speech.
Yeah, so everyone was, with a couple of exceptions, I think mother of the groom, father of the bride, they had sort of 5 to 8. And as a jobbing comic, I did think, what do I give them a light?
Oh, yeah.
Running.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop crying.
5 to 8. But isn't that the average
Speech
length of
That's
a wedding
it's a
speech?
long,
think so, yeah.
long time.
It's quite a while. Most people stuck to pretty pretty brief stuff. But that's why they needed an MC. That's. Otherwise, I think you're right. You don't really need one. But that's the reason I agreed. I thought, you know what, these people actually do need.
So did you do material in between them?
I had a sort of a few lines, 2 or 3 lines in between each one, and then announced the beef.
It's a tough gig, that.
Did you sort of comment? Did you do callbacks to the speeches?
I did.
Were they nice callbacks?
I felt it was my duty to sort of be a persistently, gently undermining force.
Yes.
Oh no!
I did think you've got to balance mockery with affection.
Well, that's what I mean. Every wedding speech, that's the ingredient, isn't it?
It's like trying to convince a loved one not to wear a hat.
Yeah.
Bit of mockery, bit of affection.
Yeah.
You have to go. Yeah. You hit them with the satire, and then at the end, then you melt their hearts.
That's right.
Yeah. In 5 to 8 minutes.
Yes. But see, well, that was it. As I was the sort of palate cleanser in between heart meltings, so I sort of thought, well, if their hearts are going to be. They're going to be puddles by the time this is over. So
You're going to freeze them back up again.
Freeze them right back up. Chilling stats. Re-divorce.
So how did it go, would you say?
It went well.
Can you give us an example of your Norwegian wedding material?
My Norwegian...
Or are you saving it for an Edinburgh show?
Did you throw any Norwegian in?
I threw in some fake Norwegian.
What sort of thing? I was a bit rude, Pierre.
No, I cleared it with the 2 Norwegians there.
Okay.
Just the 2 of them.
They approved.
Life's so complicated now, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did you say? What was your fake Norwegian?
I just thought, because I had to explain to the guests, not all of them were aware of the tremendous backstory of the Norwegian wedding, so I had to explain why they were going to have to hear 8 or 9 people talking.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I would pretend that I was some sort of expert on Norwegian culture and sort of made up a few fake Norwegian words with sort of deep meanings, and I kept referring to the sort of the father of the bride as the bridsfather and things like that.
All right.
I quite like Hank. What do you think?
Bit of fake Norwegian in there.
I think you had to be there.
Yeah. I can't really. I can't think of a gig more context heavy.
Exactly.
Also, it
Norwegian themed
Exactly.
wedding. In
It sounded potentially a bit South African as well.
It did, yeah. That was playing to my strengths.
But
yeah.
that material, as you say, that's gone now, isn't it? Unless
Yes.
you do another Norwegian theme wedding, which is... I mean, you might get bookings for if word gets out.
Now
if it
that I've
went
said
well.
this.
Were you pleased with it at the end? Did you think as Norwegian wedding MCing goes, that was about as good as it gets?
I thought as it went, I got the good reviews from the high table, the people who mattered, you know, and I did think, is this what it's like to be a vicar? Sort of people in a service scenario coming up to you and sort of shaking you by the hand and saying nice things. I thought this is probably the best part of vicaring.
Yeah.
People in suits congratulating you on saying things nicely.
Yeah, you don't get much out of comedy gigs, I find.
No, just a
What I'm
glass
doing-
shattering on the wall behind
These
you.
gigs I'm at the moment, I am literally at the end of the gig, walking through the audience, out the door, and off to the tube station. I mean, I'm literally, that's how I leave.
Have you not got your own entrance or exit?
No, God, no.
Oh,
No, it's
dear.
just about doing it quickly so they don't catch me before I get on the train.
Yes.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
If anyone knows the technical name for that harness that you put the bottom of a flag in, I would love to know what that was, just so I can drop it in conversation.
Surely you know people who know about harnesses.
Well, I do, but I don't know so many flag people, I'm happy to say.
Very few of them are also patriots.
Yeah, there might be
To that
some drum majors listening, or majorettes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you get these majorettes anymore? They were big, weren't they, the majorettes? Do you know, it was a lovely use. They're not a top hat. It's a top hat with a peak.
It's a sort of a ornate top hat that looks like it could have been. It would be great on Is It Cake, because you could easily make a good cake of one. I would have thought.
It's a shako.
That's what it's called.
A shako, yeah.
Have you Googled it?
I thought it was a shako because I used
Have
to.
you Googled it?
I googled it to confirm.
You so sure you did. Why didn't you speculate first and put your reputation on the line? Now we'll never believe
I
that you
doubted
knew
myself. I doubted myself.
it. A shako.
Thank you to the Sharp novels and TV series for teaching me that.
Okay, how are you spelling shako?
Shako.
Okay.
I love the expression, how are you spelling?
Can't find my...
How does one spell it?
How are you spelling these days?
Excuse me, shopkeeper. This Shaco's a bit shallow for the flag I'm doing this weekend. Have you got anything with a bit more depth?
Oh, no, sorry. I mean, the Shaco is the kind of hat you're talking about.
Oh, can I
No.
want to know the name of the harness that flag goes into?
That's-
Keep up.
That's up to the listeners.
No, I'm sorry. That was very specific information. The hat, I didn't know that was called a Shaco. That's useful information from that particular knowledge bomb. I like that.
Okay, I just thought it was confusing. I've now made a public fool of myself.
Well, let's face it, that's setting
did
a
a-
real precedent there.
I did a whole mini drama set in a majorette supply store, which didn't make any sense now, because why would you want a deeper Shaco if it's a hat?
You could also beehive hairdo.
Yeah, it could be, or maybe you're an undercover policeman.
But do you know what? I think the drama still stands on its own.
Okay.
I really like the drama, and I just want to flag up that I will
good,
be
good, very good.
Very nice.
I will be referring back to it quite a lot in the future. That drama,
great.
I'll call it the Majorette. Great.
The majorette supply store drama. Look, speaking of big hats, did you read the Katy Perry story this week?
I did.
So Katy Perry is in Australia,
Yeah.
and picture that, if you will.
She's with the Bloom boy.
Yes, she's with Harold Bloom from James Joyce's Ulysses. And no, she's with Orlando Bloom, not Orlando from Virginia Woolf's Orlando.
The Absolute Radio. They they haven't fashioned a portmanteau name, have they yet?
No.
Now, she was asked about this, and do you know what she said? She did a bit of a Paul Ince. Frank, would you care to quickly give a brief explanation?
Well, it's said that Paul Ince, the former Manchester United footballer, said to his teammates, henceforth, I shall be known as the governor.
Oh, self-selecting
So, yeah.
nickname.
Yeah, so that's the
Self-slush.
theory. I don't know if it's definitely true, but that's what they say.
Katie did a bit of an Ince. Because once, when she was asked, they were repeatedly asked, "What's your name, your couple name?" And I think she tweeted once or put a post on Instagram saying, "Just to let you know, I've decided what our name is and we've chosen it. It's okay."
Oh, for all I see.
Has it taken?
Well, it's okay. No, it's what's wrong with Corlando?
Or Blairy.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love Corlando
yeah, or just Berry.
Berry, yeah.
or Catando.
That's all
That
right.
sounds like a game you'd play. Nice card game.
I think
Yeah.
that's the name of the majorette. Epaulet base. It's called that. I'll check with the storekeeper next time I'm in there.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Katy Perry, who I think we've worked.
Catando.
Corlando, I still like.
Orlando, okay.
We had some great outside world from Trevor saying Katy Perry plus Orlando Bloom equals kabloom.
That's pretty good.
Very good.
Yeah, I like that. Kabloom.
Kabloom.
Yeah, let's stick with that. Write
Okay.
that down. Well
Kabloom.
done. Who was that?
That was Trevor.
Well done, Trevor. Clever Trevor. Knock me down with a feather. I bet he's heard that a lot.
So Kabloom, well, it wasn't Kabloom. Kabloom, where he's filming. Orlando is currently shooting a movie called Wizard, which that'd be nice for you, Frank. Sort of thing you'd like, wizards and things.
Yeah, quite possibly. I'm surprised that she tags along like a +1 to his filming. This is Katy Perry, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Well, they've got a child. They share a child together.
Yeah.
Maybe she always wanted to see Port Douglas.
Yeah, maybe that is possible. I've always been a fan of. I don't know. Yeah, I'm no expert on her music, but I like that sort of quite sort of brightly lit
Yes.
cartoon. She's Boopian, I would say. She has a Boopian element to her.
Yes, Betty Boop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She would, if they do a live action Betty Boop movie,
Yes.
she would be my first phone call.
I adore KP, although I
Oh.
was surprised to see her on I think she might have done a an ad for a takeaway food company.
Oh.
You know when they go a bit Backstreet Boys?
Well, it's interesting that because
Go on.
one of the lines that she says in that is, I get what I want when I want it, margarita with extra cheese on it, which seems to contradict the story we're about to tell.
I knew you'd be. I knew you wouldn't have let those adverts slip past you.
No,
Frank.
well, I like, I miss Snoop on there. They must pay the big money, let's see.
What did he do?
Wow. He was doing
on
it
there.
in like full pimp outfit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a what on earth are you doing? This is a family advert. And then Katy Perry looks amazing on it in a series of, I say cartoonish guises, I would say.
The Marge Simpson, yeah.
But even so, I get what I get when I want it. So she went into an Australian cafe and said, can I get a table? And the waitress said no.
Indiana.
And then, and then she found her a sort of staff eating table. I hate that. I hate when you're in a cafe and the staff are eating and they're on laptops and so. Get an office. I don't want to see. I don't want to see this. It's like I don't get to Darren Brown and he tells me how it's done. Get in the back. I don't care if you have to stand in a corridor. I don't want to watch the staff eating and on laptops.
The worst. Have you ever had this? Is in a restaurant. I've been sat near where the staff eating lunch. Come on.
Well, I'm not keen. Anyway, so the woman, the Indiana, the waitress, found her a table, her and a child. I don't know how big her entourage was, but she had a big hat. And then went over and gave her a further reprimand, having found her a table, and said, by the way, don't think you can sit there on a regular basis. That kind of attitude. And the summing up of this story is at the end, KP gave her an enormous tip because she said she was so happy to be treated like an everyday person.
Or as Indiana put it, I believe her actual words, Indiana, were, I was a bit shocked that I acted like she was a casual Joe Blow.
Was the tip, never speak to me like that again, or I'll show you the meaning of pain or something like that?
I would have thought that what Katy Perry and indeed all human beings should be encouraging is that every customer is treated like a celebrity. Not a levelling down attitude where everybody is treated badly. That seems to be the Australian idea of equality.
Treat everyone like a Joe Blow.
Exactly. It needs unwrapping.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Can I just take us briefly over into the OW? Wayne Hemingway went to see your show on Thursday. He just said he'd really love it if you could do a small meet and greet afterwards in the future. No, that's not Frank's way. 755. The holder for a flag when you carry it is called a strop. My kind of flag. Lady flag, I imagine.
Yeah, very good.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
You say very good, but you said it in the tone of voice when you said to Pierre you had to be there.
Oh, okay.
Okay? 162.
It'll work for a Norwegian wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be what people say on the circuit now.
Yeah.
Save it for a Norwegian wedding, mate.
That'll be a heckle. Yeah. Hey, it's not a Norwegian. Yeah, all right, mate.
What do you think this is, a Norwegian wedding?
Yeah, exactly.
Get that man out of here.
That was like when I worked for an editor, an Australian editor, who was one of the strictest women I ever worked for. And I suggested an idea. It was a magazine called You Magazine, supplement. And she said, I said, what about this idea? And she went, let's leave that to The Guardian, shall we? Next.
Oh, man.
That was the biggest insult she could muster up.
I think it reminds me of I was doing a 3-show series and I had an earpiece in. And we'd had a meeting with the commissioning editor. They said, what we'll do the 3 shows. Don't do anything that says which is the first show. And then we'll put them in the order best first, second best second. That's how we'll do it. I said, fair enough. So I was interviewing someone, and they referred to something that I'd done on a previous show they didn't know about. And I was going to mention, and then I thought, I don't know what order these are going out in. And a voice in my ear said, you can mention it, this will be the last show. Oh, wee. Okay. God. And now I have to carry on with that on my shoulders.
Oh, dear. OK, I will just take us briefly back to flags. So we've got 755 claims they're called a strop. 162, Frank as a standard bearer for a branch of the RBL. The standard is held in a carrier. It's either from Chris Gill Scorton in North Yorkshire or from Chris Gill, Scorton, North Yorkshire.
I see.
Carrier.
What's the RBL? Is that
Royal British Legion.
Oh, yes, I see.
Oh, Pierre.
Yeah.
You know, when we used to drink at the Royal British Legion when we was about 16, and it was like 9p a pint. It was like really cheap. And we always used to say, you know, those blokes who joined the French Foreign Legion to forget could have forgot much quicker in the Royal British Legion. And for less money.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were talking about Katy Perry being not recognised by an Australian waitress and then rewarding her with a large tip. That was her mistake. What she was thinking of is, well, I believe in equality and socialism, in fact, and this woman has expressed that. But the woman just didn't recognise her. It's a completely different scenario. True. Had she recognised her, presumably she'd got the specialist treatment.
Yes.
So she's been rewarded for not recognising Katy Perry. It's the very antithesis of the Buzzcocks identity parade round. Yes. You are rewarded if you don't recognise the person from the music video.
That's true. She should only have been rewarded if she'd said, "Look here, Perry, there aren't any tables."
Yeah, if she'd said, you know, "Don't come in here with your pop star ego," and something like that, then she wouldn't have rewarded her almost certainly.
And that would have been like one of those sort of medieval morality tales where it turns out you were speaking to the king the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly, but...
well, it's Secret Millionaire Boss or whatever that thing
That's
is.
the sort of thing that's going on.
Yes, but...
the hat as well.
Yeah.
The hat.
I thought this might come up.
She wore an enormous crocheted hat in order to not be noticed. All she needed was a flashing insignia on the hat that said incognito to have made it absolutely perfect. I mean, who would not look at a person in an enormous crocheted hat?
This is the problem with being a celebrity who lives in LA. Everyone around you is so outlandish and bizarre that your idea of camouflage becomes perverse.
Exactly.
What about...
That'll be one of 100 crocheted enormous hats, I imagine.
Many-sided glasses as well.
Yeah.
I would say not just hexagonal, but what's 12, Pierre? What's a lot of sides on an object?
A lot of sides.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a mathematical...
Multi-agonal, I guess.
Okay, lovely.
I'm guessing here.
They were very...
Multi-agonal, that's what you are.
They were very look at me, the shades.
Yes.
What would you do in that
polyagonal, sorry.
Thank you, Pierre. In that situation, though, Frank, I did think of you when I read this.
Yeah.
Because I've been into restaurants with you. You are generally, I mean, you are something of a national treasure, so you do get recognised fairly regularly. But I've been with you, I think, maybe a couple of times when they haven't, you know, they've done a bit of a KP.
Yeah.
You've been all right with it, which surprised me, I'm not going to lie.
Look, I'm not going to pretend that if they can't find a table and they recognise you, then you'll get a table often. That's a good thing. But if you don't get recognised, I can't get out my show reel. So you just have to live.
You
with
say that, but you did once point to your face. as you passed.
Yeah, that was a bad thing. That was at a football thing where the guy said, have you got your pass? I actually I fumbled in my pockets for the pass I knew I didn't have. And then I pointed at my face and said, oh, here it is. I mean, it is outrageous. That was poor behaviour, but it worked. It did get me in, but it was shocking.
Did you give him an enormous tip?
No, I've never given anyone an enormous tip in my life. I hate tipping in all its manifestations. I do it, but it makes me nervous, and I have to do maths.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, God. Just charge me a bit extra. It's fine. No, but I've tried, I had all those years of not even going into restaurants. When I first started going into restaurants, posh restaurants, and that, I used to feel incredibly intimidated by the staff and everyone else. But I think Katie's earned the right to get a table if there's one around.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that story.
Do you think that you get treated like a god in America if you're even moderately famous, and so they just... I think I like the American celebrities who enjoy being treated badly more than I like the ones that want to be treated like gods.
Well, Elton John once said to me that he's treated like a god in America, and then he'd come back and there'd be a British newspaper on the plane that called him like a four-eyed fat idiot, and he'd think, oh, thank goodness for that. Bit of levelling. Obviously, I didn't believe a damn word. Anyway, and I'm going to do the plug. Episode 5 of my poetry podcast will be available on Wednesday, and it's Emily Dickinson this week.
I'm named after her, thank you.
Are you really?
I love her.
David Dickinson, I think, was named after her as well. Catch up on all the previous episodes from wherever you get your podcasts. I read that. I don't know if you could tell I was reading the last bit. So thank you. Thanks, Pierre. Great to see you as ever.
Pleasure, thank you.
And you know what? If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.